Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to return to Poland and continue on with the Polish Beer Month that I've been doing for you across May 2016, and we've got another really interesting brewery to visit today. The standard of craft beer in Poland is awesome, so you really need to try some Polish craft beers. But we're going to go to Browar Bednary today, who actually have their own brewery, one of the few Polish craft breweries I've come across who actually have their own brewing facility, and we're going to have a taste of one of their seasonal beers tonight. So this one is the smoked edition of the Ambergris beer. So this one is a smoked brown ale and it comes in at 4.4%. So this one should be very nice actually. I'm really looking forward to this beer and seeing how we get on with it. This, as you know, if you've watched my channel before, I really enjoy brown ales and I really like smoked beers as well. So this one is going to be a really interesting hybrid beer for me. So with this one as well, I'm going to give a shout out to Paweł at Piwomaniak. This was another beer that I bought in his store in Warsaw. Very nice guy, big metalhead just like me. He's got a great selection of Polish beer. So if you find yourself visiting Warsaw and you're interested in craft beer, definitely go and check out Piwomaniak. The link to the Facebook page for the store is in the description below, so make sure you check that out. But anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. Just fast forward if you want to get straight to the tasting. There's all the usual websites in the description below. The brewery website, the link to my future reviews that I'll do from Browar Bednary. I do have one of their other beers to review for you. It's an amber ale. You'll see that soon. But there's all the usual social media, Facebook, Twitter and Untapped. Please follow me on there. Your support would be much appreciated. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more beer reviews, and I do apologise in advance for any bad Polish pronunciations in this video. It's a very difficult language, probably along with Finnish, Estonian, Hungarian, one of the hardest languages in Europe to get, but the pronunciation is very difficult because Polish sounds nothing like it looks. It's a crazy language, but please do get in touch and let me know some of the other Polish beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review, and hopefully I can get a hold of some of those. But anyway, to tell you about Browar Bednary. So Browar Bednary were founded in 2014 and they're based in the Łowicz region in Poland, and it's located in the small village of Nieborów, which is about halfway between Warsaw and Łódź, right in the middle of Poland, and you just go a little bit to the southwest, I guess. But the company founder is Rafał Lopusinski, who is a long-time home brewer, and these guys are actually one of the few craft breweries I've come across in Poland that have their own brewery. So apparently this was the first full brewery established in Poland by a home brewer, the first home brewer who actually went out and built his own brewery. But I think there are more and more of these little breweries popping up these days. There's a lot of contract brewers in Poland who brew at bigger breweries but brew their beers on the small scale. But these guys are interesting because of course they have 100% independence, but they've got a small brewery set up of 5 hectolitres with specially designed tanks and things like that, all stainless steel. If you have a look on the website you can see some of the nice pictures of the very sexy steel, but they offer on-site tastings and also brewery tours as well, so if you get in touch with them I'm sure they can arrange that for you. But their beers are now widely available throughout Poland, and I think they're actually starting to look at exports now. But Paweł was very determined and was very insistent that I take this beer because he says Browar Bednary are a very, very good brewery to have a look at. So if you want to try some Polish beer, I guess Browar Bednary is a real place to start. But overall, the standard of Polish craft beer is excellent. The regional beers are really quite good as well, and I've even been surprised by the standard of some of the macro beers too. And of course, these are all relative terms. It's unfair to compare a craft beer to a macro beer directly. But the standard of beer in Poland is really quite high, and it wasn't a surprise to me. I'd heard great things, but it's really cool to see another country producing such great beer. So just to list the other beers you can get from these guys, in the Lowicki range, there's the Pale Ale, the AIPA, the American India Pale Ale, the Foreign Extra Stout, the Amber Ale, which you'll see me review in the next few videos, and also the Oatmeal Ale. In their regular ale range, they've got the Sweet Boy, Stoutopia, they also have a smoked version of that. There's the Holy Grail, Orange Machine, Oysteroidia, which is an oyster stout, as you may have guessed, Ambergris, which is a regular version of this brown ale, Yeti, and also Stekina. But they've also got some seasonal beers too. There's the Ale Kaicho. There's 2 different versions of that, one for winter and one for the summer, I believe. There's this guy here, the smoked Ambergris, and there's the Citron, which is their summer ale, and also the Buzi Antic as well, which seems to be some sort of orange beer. So yeah, it should be, this one should be really quite interesting. As I said, these guys are really cool because they do actually have their own brewery, which seems to be quite uncommon for craft breweries in Poland. But I guess there will be more and more of them establishing their own facilities as they establish a customer base. So exciting times from Poland for craft beer. But let's get on to the tasting of this one now. I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. It's quite nicely presented actually. The normal Ambergris has a very similar label to this one. I think it might be a different colour. You can see this one's actually quite low in alcohol content, 4.4%. So it's almost the same alcohol content as some of these German beers. You can see the little rooster there with the colourful tail. That is the Browar Bednary symbol. It'd be really cool to have it on the bottle cap, but it is just a plain bottle cap on this one. So this is a 4.4% smoked brown ale. It says on the side here there's paleo malts. I'm not sure exactly what that one is. Maybe wheated malt, caramel malt, Czech malts, melanoid malts, and there was also some red malts in there too. And it says the hops are Cascade and Marinka, and then it also says there's an epic Drożdża or something in there. I'm not sure exactly what that means in Polish, but I'll just let you have a look at the thing. So just pause it and take a look at it if you are a Polish speaker. Maybe someone in the description or someone in the comment section can tell me exactly what that means. But this one should be a really nice beer. The regular brown ale is very highly rated, but I couldn't actually find a rating on Rate Beer for this one. But the reviews of it that I saw were very positive. So let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting then. Yes. Not a real pungent aroma coming out of the bottle as soon as you open it up, but I'm sure we'll get something fairly soon. We'll leave it at that for the moment. That's about 2/3 of the bottle poured out into the glass there. So yeah, as you can see, this beer is poured a really dark kind of ebony rosewoody colour. There's a finger of a frothy beigey coloured head on this one, beigey creamy coloured head. It looks very, very nice. There's some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass and just a couple going up towards the bottom of the head there, but not much visible carbonation in this one. If I shine it up to the light, it does become a bit of a chestnut colour. I'm not sure how well you can see that on the video, but if I shine the light through it, the beer does become a little bit of a chestnut colour. But it looks really quite nice actually. So let's have a look at the aroma. As I always say, when it comes to dark beers like this, take a bit of time and smell the aroma for this one. Yeah, there's definitely, this one leans way more towards the peat side of things. I was expecting a little bit of meaty character out of this, but this one's a lot more peaty. There's definitely some kind of black malts or something in here as well. Yeah, definitely a big peaty, earthy character in that one. When you sugar it up a bit more, you start to get a little bit of hoppy character out of it. There's a definite earthy hop in there. You can pick up a little bit of fruity character. Obviously that will be the Cascade just coming out. Usually the Cascade gives you a kind of grapefruity note, but in this case you're just picking up a little bit of, just a slight citrusy note, but you can pick up some of the slightly floral and grassy characteristics. I wonder if that one is the Marinka that's coming out. The Polish hops seem to be quite similar in character to the German noble hops like the Tettnanger and the Hallertau in my experience so far. Tried Marinka and Lubelski seem to be quite common ones from Poland. But yeah, you definitely get some of this German, almost German noble hop character coming out of this beer. But it's big and peaty and earthy. You can pick up a little bit of the sweeter caramel underneath. Of course it is a little bit toasted. There's not a meaty character to this beer at all. Like I say, dominated by nice kind of earthy, peaty notes, this one. But yeah, it smells really nice. There's maybe just a little bit of a leathery or kind of woody note to this beer too. But it definitely smells really, really nice. So let's get a little bit more of this into the glass and then we'll have a taste of it. So this one is the Ambergris, the smoked version of the Ambergris from Browar Bednary in Niborów, which is between Warsaw and Łódź in Poland. This should be a really nice beer. My first visit to Browar Bednary, so let's see how we get on. Na zdrowie. It's quite nice, yeah. Very different from any brown ale that I've come across before, definitely. Yeah. This beer is definitely very earthy in its flavours, and it's quite nice if you enjoy the nice kind of earthy beers, as I sometimes do, then this is one you'll definitely enjoy. We do have a couple of smoked beers at home that are both meaty and earthy, but this one is pretty much 100% earthy. There's none of that how would you say, there's none of that sort of Bamberg Rauch malt that gives you these nice meaty flavours. You're not getting any of that flavour in this one, I don't think. Yeah. But yeah, this is quite an interesting one. As I say, I really enjoy brown ales and smoke beers as well. This one definitely leans more towards what you would expect from a brown ale than what it does from a smoke beer. Of course, the kind of stereotypical view of the smoke beers is definitely these Bamberg Rauchbier, Schlenkerla, Spezial, the big meaty, juicy ham flavours that you get, the kind of almost barbecue-y bacon sort of thing. This one is a lot more earthy, and there's a good bit more hop presence in this one as well. That's the other thing you're going to notice with this beer. But yeah, this is really nice though. It's always good to try different interpretations of styles, but in the middle of the palate with this one, you're just blanketed with a nice kind of bready malt base. It just goes right across the middle of the palate there. It's just a sort of, it's more like a pale malt rather than being bready and having a bit more body to it. It's just very light. It goes across the middle of the tongue, and you can feel the sort of earthy, smoky characters just building on top of that. There maybe is a little bit of a kind of leathery note to it, something like that. Not really woody or nutty. It's not too sweet at all. It's really quite dark and quite earthy. You can taste a little bit of a kind of black malt in there as well. There's a bit of cereal character, but there's not much sweetness in the malt base to this one at all. I'm not even really picking up too much of the caramel malt that's in there with this one. Yeah, there maybe is just a little tiny bit at the front of the tongue, but it really is dominated by this kind of peaty, earthy malt that's in there. It's a really interesting beer, this one. As I say, it's not like any brown ale I've come across. It definitely leans more towards the brown ale style than it does to someone's kind of typical expectation from the Rauch beers. But yeah, it is nice. Around the back corners of the palate, you've got some nice earthy hop character in there. That blends quite well with this earthy kind of peaty flavour that you've got going on in the middle of the palate. As you come further forward, it gets a little bit more floral and a bit grassy and smooth around the front curve of the tongue. It's really nice. Yeah. Behind the front curve of the tongue too, you'll just get a little oily bubble. You can detect a little bit of fruit coming out there, but really not very much at all. This one, it's not too complex in flavour. It's not as complex as some of the Rauch beers that you're going to come across, and it's not as complex, I think, as some of the brown ales you're going to come across. It really is quite dominated by the peaty malt flavours. They really sit there. They stay there right into the aftertaste. You get a little bit of the hoppy, earthy character at the back of the palate, and a little bit of the floral character sitting at the front too. So there is a good bit of hoppy dryness to this beer. Overall, it's not too complex, but it's quite enjoyable, this one. For me, this is definitely a taster beer rather than a sort of session ale. But I would be really interested to try the original version of the brown ale, because it would be interesting to make a comparison to this one. So hopefully I can try the original Ambergris in the fairly near future. But you know, this is quite a nice beer, but like I say, more leaning towards the brown ale style. If you enjoy a good earthy brown ale with a bit of kind of black malt and things in there, it's not really a coffee-ish flavour you get out of this one. It's definitely more earthy. If you enjoy these kind of nice earthy style beers, then I think you will quite enjoy this one. But very different from what you would typically expect from a smoked beer. It is more fitting into the brown ale style, this one. But when it says it's a smoked brown ale, that really kind of is what you should expect. But overall, quite a nice beer, and I certainly look forward to trying the amber ale from their other range of beers. The other one comes from the Levitsky range, I think it's called, but it's the amber ale. So I'm looking forward to trying one of their more hoppy beers, I think. But yeah, so in terms of the mouthfeel of this beer is actually really quite light. It's definitely kind of light-bodied, I would say, maybe pushing the mid-bodied category a little bit, but that's just the kind of peaty flavours that are giving it a little bit more body. There's slightly oily mouthfeel to it. Carbonation, I think, is actually a bit more active in this one than some of the other ones I've come across. There's a good big malty forward character to this. As I said, it's not really sweet. The earthy peatiness in this beer, it can actually be quite dry. There's a bit of cereal dryness in there as well, and there's good hoppy dryness, both from the earthy side of things and from the more floral side of things too. And there's a little tiny bit of a citrusy fruit, but really it's not too much of a noticeable character. In the aftertaste, it's the earthiness that really lingers there, both from the peaty flavours and from the hops too. Just a little bit of the floral character sitting there as well. But overall, definitely an interesting beer. For me, this is a taster one. It's not a session beer. It is one that you can taste for the novelty, and when it's a seasonal beer, I guess that is what is kind of intended with it. So hopefully in the fairly near future I can go back and have a look at the regular Ambergris. It would be cool to compare that one to this one and see how we get on. Pavel picked this one for me because I said I liked smoked beers, and he's definitely given me an interesting one. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. As always, do let me know in the comment section below your own thoughts on this one. Always interesting to hear from you guys that are watching the videos. Do let me know your favourite beers from Browar Bednary as well. Really cool to actually find a Polish craft brewery who have their own brewery as well. That's always quite interesting to learn new things about new breweries too. But do let me know your favourite Polish beers, your favourite Polish brown ales as well, and your favourite beers from Browar Bednary. But until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Go and check out my social media things. Go and check out Piwomaniak in Warsaw. But most importantly, go and try some of the beers from Browar Bednary if you get the chance. I'm going to review one of their other beers for you in a few videos time, so stay tuned for that. You're going to see an amber ale review fairly soon. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you soon. I hope you're enjoying the Polish Beer Month. Na zdrowie.